Hello, I'm Mark Patton. During this educational video, I'm going to help you determine how much money you need to save for your retirement. This is certainly one of the biggest questions that we get from participants in retirement plans, and it's going to help you determine how much money you need to have set aside at the point that you retire so you can put together some goals and figure out how much you need to be saving along the way. I hope that you find this video and information to be helpful to you. So let's start by making sure we all have a clear definition of what we're talking about when we're talking about retirement income. It is simply the amount of money you're going to need each year during your retirement. So retirement income is the amount of money each year that you're going to need. Some estimates of that, some industry experts have put together estimates of this, and they say that you'll need approximately 70 to 90% of your working income every year during retirement. So let's think about what that means. So an example is you make $50,000 annually today. This means that you might need somewhere between $35,000 to $45,000 per year during retirement. That's going to be a lot of money that you need to save to meet those retirement needs. So with that, let's take a look at some things that impact your retirement income planning process, and then we'll determine exactly how much you need to save. So one big factor that we need to think about is the impact of inflation. So let's take this example today. So if you have $40,000 today, all right, that's over here on the left-hand side. Inflation has roughly been 3% annually for a very long time. So inflation is simply the rising costs of goods and services over time. So if you have $40,000 today, you can buy $40,000 worth of goods and services. Now, as time passes and inflation occurs, the prices of goods and services goes up. So take a look at this. In 40 years time, that same $40,000 worth of goods and services will cost somewhere around $130,000 simply because of a 3% inflation rate. This impacts your income needs as well. So for example, if you think that you need $40,000 of income in today's dollars and you're going to retire in 40 years from now, you actually are going to need $130,000 of income every year during retirement when adjusted for inflation. So again, understand that your income needs to be inflated with the cost of goods and services. So when we think about how much income you need in the future, we need to take the amount that you think you need in today's dollars and figure out what that amount actually is in the future when we take into account inflation. This helps us do that. So here's a table that we call the inflation factor table. So for every dollar that you want in today's dollars, let's look out 30 years, for example, at a 3% inflation rate. For every dollar that you need today, you're going to need $2.43 in 30 years from now. So this is a factor that you can use to adjust whatever income amount you need in today's dollars, figure out how long it's going to be until you retire. Let's use the example of 30 years from now. If you need $1 of income today, you're going to need $2.43 of income in the future to buy the exact same things because of the 3% inflation that takes place. So over here is the example. Let's say that your desired annual income in your retirement is $45,000 in today's dollars. Let's assume that the inflation rate between now and your retirement during the next between now and the time you retire is 3% annually. Let's say that your retirement date is 30 years from now. You're going to retire in 30 years. So your desired annual income, which is $45,000 in today's dollars, in retirement is actually going to be $45,000 times 2.43 because you retired in 30 years from now, times 2.43, you're going to need $109,350 every year during your retirement to meet your income needs. So this helps you understand the impact of inflation. It is very, very significant, and we need to plan for that. So that's one thing to first understand about how much money you need to save to meet your needs. Inflation is a big factor in figuring that out. Let's talk about what's called the 4% rule now. So the 4% rule is this. It's the amount that you can take annually from your retirement savings and hopefully not run out of money. So there's been a lot of research done on this, and you can search the internet for this, search for the 4% rule, and it simply says it's the amount of money you can take from your retirement savings. So as an example, let's make this very, very clear. Let's say that the value of your savings at the time that you retire, let's say that you accumulate $1 million at the time that you retire. So on the day that you retire, you've got $1 million of retirement savings. What the 4% rule says is that you can take 4% of that value on an annual basis for income. So what this says is that your annual income that you can take from your retirement savings, assuming you've saved $1 million, the annual income that you can take from your savings is $1 million times 4% or $40,000 per year. So that's what the 4% rule tells us. So these things, the inflation factor combined with this 4% rule, will help us figure out how much money you need to have set aside for your retirement. So let's figure this out. The 4% rule simply tells us this. Every $25 of retirement savings will give you $1 of annual income in retirement. That's just kind of flipping the 4% rule upside down. So again, if you've got $25 at the point that you retire, you can take $1 of annual income. Said another way, for every dollar of income that you need, you're going to have saved $25 to meet that income need. Therefore, the amount that you need to save, your retirement goal amount, the amount of money you need to save, will equal your desired annual retirement income times 25. So again, every $25 of retirement savings will yield you $1 of retirement income. That means for every dollar of income that you want, you have to multiply that times 25 to determine how much money you need to save. So let's go back to an example here. So here is our inflation factor table. Let's take a look at the example. Again, say you want to have $45,000 in today's dollars of income, annual income during retirement, $45,000. Let's assume that the inflation rate between now and then will be 3% annually. The cost of goods and services going up over that time at 3% per year. Your retirement date's 30 years from now. That's your goal, is to retire in 30 years from now. Your desired annual income, which is what we've already talked about, was $45,000. We then need to multiply that times the inflation factor to figure out what that means in 30 years from now. So for 30 years, we go over here and find the factor at 2.43. So you take your $45,000 of desired income times 2.43. There's the $109,350 that we need of retirement income when we go to retire. Now, of course, if you're going to retire in 40 years, you need to multiply it times 3.26, or in 10 years, 1.34, and so forth throughout this table. So again, we're looking for $109,000 of retirement income. So here's what you need to save. You need to save $109,350 times 25, because each $25 will give you $1 retirement income. That means that you need to set aside $2.7 million to have accumulated at the point that you retire. It's a big pile of dough. Now keep in mind, there are some other things that will possibly help provide you with some retirement income. One would be Social Security. So let's say that you get $20,000 of Social Security a year. If that's the case, then you only need to get $25,000 out of your savings, because of your $45,000 of need, then $20,000 is met by Social Security. Hopefully that will go up with inflation as well, and you only need to have another $25,000 to meet your needs. So there are different things that can help offset this, but you can figure out how much money you're going to need from your savings, how much retirement income do you need from your savings, and you'll figure out how much money you need to have set aside at the point that you retire. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you have any questions at all about this or anything else that we can help you with regarding your retirement plan, certainly let us know. Our number is here on the screen, and you can email us at any time at 401khelp@pattonfunds.com. Hope it's been helpful, and please let us know if you have any questions. Take care.